Da 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 da. What's my good cheer? All proud of myself. Sometimes I work in social media, but it is in the communication, in that connection that I have with my audience. I'm not technically technically inclined. And when we have updates on the computer, sometimes I go into that little bit of a frazzle and pushing buttons, a little bit of experimentation, a little bit of research and Googling, right? And the next thing you know, I figure out something new. But it is in that process because back in the back of your mind, you're going, oh my goodness, what's going on? What's with these changes, right? Because as empaths and as highly sensitives, we're not prone to enjoy change. It's not our nature to be whipped about in our lives, in our emotions. And there is a reason for that. And for me, I find quite often if I just kind of stay in the middle, if I give myself those pep talks in those hairy, scary moments, if I team up with those other parts of me, and maybe there's a lesson in that for me to say that I should team up more than what I'm teaming up with. In the programming, quite often I don't like that word programmed, but that's what it is. We are taught. We are um, programmed in that daily, everyday, day to day, to look at ourselves and feel about ourselves certain ways. And these are ways that are far from the truth. But because it's our nature, right, to avoid that airy, scary, that quite often we'll just, right, we'll wait out the storm. But just like my cup says here, right? The darkest nights produce the brightest stars. Being in the middle, we have that opportunity to team up with ourselves, and it's something that's been coming across my path in the past couple of weeks, a little bits and pieces, and in the conversations. And maybe they're the same conversations, but because I'm hearing them differently, because I'm feeling them differently, they're being absorbed a little bit differently. And maybe that was why I was being asked. I feel, right? I even feel guilty in saying being asked because as if I'm just, right, covering up the reason as to why I kind of slowed down. I didn't shut down. It's always moving forward. But I did slow down. I did become a bit of a slug. I did become somebody who just did the basics, right? Just to manage to get through the week. And I got through the week and I got through the week just fine. And I got through the week in not suffering so much. And maybe it was because I teamed up with myself. I kind of listened to myself, knowing that this was what I was going to need. And no matter what, everything was going to be okay. But sometimes in those moments, right? I did updates yesterday and just coming onto my laptop and oh my goodness, everything wants to shut down and asking for new passwords in my mind. I'm going, oh, I'm being hacked and right. And in those panic modes, we have to be those cheerleaders for ourselves. We have to be that eye in the storm, right? To let us know everything's going to be okay. Okay, Cindy, slow down. Let's see. Try this. Restart, right? Don't restart, completely shut down. Still asking the same question. Just do what they're asking you to do then, right? Go in, follow the process, get back in, make sure I'm writing, right? And saving whatever passwords or whatever I've changed. And we're back up and running again, right? That's not to say there ain't going to be more kinks along the way. Or maybe I did get hacked, right? But in that moment, I'm here with you. We're going live. And it only took an extra 5 minutes out of my life. But oh boy, that 5 minutes felt like 5 hours when the pressure is on. You want to move on with your weekend, right? You want to go to work knowing that there's no problems, that the little projects are done. I cleaned my office desk drawer here. That I'm so proud of myself. It looks so good and it makes me feel good. And I wanted to carry that on in my day. Being payday, wanted to feel good. I paid my bills, right? Wanted to shovel into the old ways of just kind of divvying out just a little bit of what I had to do. And then again, all proud of myself to just say, Hal, you have to pay the bill and pay the bill. And to have that feeling, that amazing feeling that almost feels like the feeling that I get when I have a pink ice donut with sprinkles, right? It's in our choices. Okay, you guys, because I wasted that 5 minutes in resolving whatever technical issues Cindy was having, and I did it, all proud of myself, right? It is in that little bit of not giving up, in adapting and conquering and finding a way. Sometimes it's just listening to those other parts of yourselves, those other parts that are teaming up with you to tell you exactly what to do. And sometimes when you do it, the live show is done. Okay. Oh my goodness. Look at the word we got today. Choices, right? Because I could have chosen, and it crossed my mind too. I could have made the choice to say, okay, we won't do a live this morning. We'll shut it down. I'll go wipe the kitchen counter. And when I come home tonight, all pooped and tired and having to get up early tomorrow because it's Saturday and it's my earliest day of the week. It's right? That momentum in our emotions and our feeling, right? We know Cindy likes the feeling of accomplishment. That's the movement forward for me. I think for most of us, it is the movement, just putting one foot in front of the other and just trusting that in the end, everything is going to be okay. But being the word choices, you throw that into the mix. And that's partnering with ourselves. You make the choice, right? And then you follow the intuitions and the um, serendipities and the little breadcrumbs to, right? And hopefully it's not leading to Hansel and Gretel's candy cottage with the Wicked Witch and the big fire thing. I'm just throwing that in there because that could be one of our choices, but it's still going to offer up an experience, right? A little bit of resilience, maybe a little bit of disdain for candy and not be so anxious, right? These are the way things come to us. And sometimes they're coming to us all the time, but we're just not reading it. We're just not feeling it. We're just not experiencing it. We're just not hearing it, right? It's just not absorbed. And then other times, the exact same thing being said, being experienced in that conversation. And there it is again. And in that moment, you get it, right? And I believe it's a lot in that prerequisites. I used that word, I think, yesterday. The prerequisite, the lesson before that makes the lesson next a little bit easier, right? It's just like the next step, but the next step of us. You know what I mean? Because those choices are only going to affect us and our surroundings. And then, right, as Cindy shows up here for these lives, I'm sharing it out there because it might be of use to somebody, right? I was invited to this party for a reason, right? I was. And in that experience, and this is the way that I've taken in my lessons, right? It is in our experiences. It is in the darkest moments of our lives that we find, I lift it up because of the cup, right? The darkest nights produce the brightest stars. We earned those badges, didn't we? We earned those badges. And I choose to make use of what I've earned. And I'm not saying if that means, because I know in my own experience that, it's like a bit of a gift when you get to have those connections, right? That it becomes a little bit of a pile of evidence, right? That in our choices, that sometimes, maybe always, right? We get to be where we need to be, when we need to be there, right? That sometimes there's a need to put the foot on the brake and the foot on the gas. Really, sometimes we need to be on that treadmill, that little gerbil wheel, because those are the moments that we can be in ourselves and with ourselves and partnering with ourselves to better make better choices. Okay, you guys, that's all I've got for you this week. I'll be back on Monday. I'll actually be back on Sunday night if you want to come and hang out with us on Chatters Live. I got an amazing crew over there that kind of hang out with me, and they yap more than I do, and they are light in the darknesses, right? And not necessarily in other people's darknesses, but sometimes we move in our own darknesses, don't we? Right? I'm showing up here not feeling my best, but in that feeling of accomplishment, all proud of myself that I did it. I'm no worse for wear, right? We got over that little technical hoo-ha, right? And I can go off and put that energy in that job that puts the roof over my head, that allows me to schedule my life this way, where I can give to myself, right? And give to others, right? In the process of learning to give better to others. Okay, you guys, have a great day. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.